Sitting here with me, but first I'll take you to a tweet that Tony Lankester sent out before he came here. He said, on my way to do an interview at Morning Live SABC, after getting into my Uber, the driver told me that together we can make it. Well, given that it's totally in his hands, I find that both comforting and sinister. Well, Tony Lankester, welcome to Morning Live. We're glad you made it. So it was comforting.
It was comforting, and he was right. So we did make it, and we made it together. It turns out that there was a road race near Zoo Lake this morning, so he was just a little bit worried about the route. But yeah, no, in his hands we made it.
We're glad you're here on time. It's great to be chatting to you. Thank you so much for making the time to come out. And another thing that I'd like to highlight from that tweet was that he said, together we can make it. And you are out there calling out for artists to come together and take part in the Buskers Festival. Yeah. Tell us more about that.
So a couple of years back, we launched the Cape Town Buskers Festival as part of the Cape Town Fringe Festival, which is an offshoot of the Grahamstown National Arts Festival. So it's like those Russian dolls. It's a festival within a festival. That's part of a festival. And what we're trying to do with the Buskers Festival is create opportunities and create spaces for these largely unsung artists, these performers who often aren't given the respect and credibility that they deserve for their talent, and create stages, vibrant performance spaces, predominantly at the V&A Waterfront, although this year we are expanding elsewhere. And it's an opportunity for them to ply their trade and get an audience and earn some money for their talent and their craft. So it's a really exciting festival. It's very spontaneous. It's very fun. It's great family entertainment. We bring out 3 or 4 international buskers. So we bring out some of the best people in the world to come and perform. And then we have anywhere between 50 and 60 South African buskers taking part and completing the program for us. So this year we're expanding it to 11 days, and it's just an amazing array of talent and artists, and every conceivable art form is presented.
Now, for people who are maybe not familiar with what busking is, please take us through what it is, and is it as widely practiced in South Africa as it is abroad? And what are some of the differences, you would say?
I would think the industry here is relatively immature. While we have lots of artists who can stand and sing, we have lots of artists who are very talented at circus skills, juggling, fire eating, whatever the case might be. So we have the artists, we have the talent, but we haven't got the opportunity for artists to present that work in that way. If you look globally, if you look at some of the big festivals around the world, I've just come back from Edinburgh at the Edinburgh Fringe. They've got the Royal Mile, which is the home of busking globally. Across this whole patch of street, there are performance spaces that are demarcated, and buskers ply their trade, and they draw massive, massive, massive crowds. And it would be really great if we can, over time, develop the industry to the point here where busking is not seen as begging, because I think everyone's traditional image of a busker is someone standing with a guitar with an empty hat in front of them, and they're sort of begging people to please give them 1 or 2 coins. These are professional artists. This is what they do for a living. This is how they make their living globally, and they make actually quite a good living in some instances. And that's what we're trying to inculcate here in South Africa. So a busk is a very simple, spontaneous-looking performance, although many hours of work have gone into making it look spontaneous. But it can be anything. It can be someone singing, it can be someone telling jokes, it can be someone doing magic, it can be someone juggling. Very often circus skills form the backbone and the core of the busking community. People juggling chainsaws on unicycles, or miming, or whatever the case might be. So it really is a platform for those kinds of artists, and it's usually 1, maybe 2 artists performing together. In Cape Town over the years, we've had a whole variety of performers. Some of our most successful ones, for example, are soccer freestylers. So it's just 2 youngsters who've got a soccer ball, and they do their thing for 45 minutes. And their thing is pretty impressive. And they pull a crowd around, and gradually the crowd gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the last 10, 15 minutes of the show, they talk about the money side of things, and people start dropping money into the hat.
Yes, I was about to get into that, Tony, about just how possible is it for buskers to sustain that self-employment option, and how do they go about doing that? Because, you know, putting your hat down at the street as you perform might or might not get you money.
Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons we bring the international buskers to come perform here. So the people that we bring from overseas are incredibly skilled at not just the performance part of their work, but actually enticing people to put money into their hat. And while they're here, we run workshops for South African buskers where these guys pass the skills on, and they explain some of the strategies and techniques and the tips that they use to get people to part with their cash. And it's a psychological game that you play with the audience, and there's a little bit of emotional manipulation perhaps. but it's all done in good humor and just spreading the love. And interestingly, a lot of the performers say, you know what, if you can't afford to put money in the hat, that's okay. We just want to see the smiles on your faces. We want to see, we're here to spread love, we're here to spread happiness, and that's really what it's about.
And we also live in a digital world where when you do see a busker, you can take a video and post it online, and hopefully that gets them some kind of traction and income.
Exactly, and they might get an invitation to a Buskers Festival at the V&A Waterfront in Cape Town.
Well, fantastic. Take us through just the applications process and how and when everything will roll out.
Okay, so we've now, yesterday was the last day of auditions that we had for South African Buskers. We received well over 100 applications from performers who wanted to take part, and we've gone through an audition process. Those who couldn't make it to Cape Town to audition, we did accept video auditions from people, and we're currently now sifting through those, and we'll make a final selection of South African artists to take part. We'll announce that in a couple of weeks, and then from the 1st to the 11th of November, across the V&A Waterfront in Cape Town, and also we're going to take it into areas that traditionally don't have busking stages. So we hope to put some stages up in Khayelitsha, in Athlone, and various other parts of Cape Town as well, so that everyone can get a taste and a flavour of what this art form is all about.
Oh, Tony, fantastic initiative. Thank you so much for making the time to come on the show, and all the best.
Thank you.
All right, so that was Tony Lankester talking to us about the Cape Town Buskers Festival, which calls on all kinds of performers to come and participate at this year's edition, which will be held at the V&A Waterfront. The festival will include several stages and over 200 performances over a period of 2 weeks. All right, it's time for us to take a quick break. And remember, when you see a busker on the street, make sure you support their craft.